Welcome to the Real Film Nerds Harvest Horror Fest.
Welcome, Real Film Nerds faithful. This is the last installment of the Harvest Horror Fest. This is our fun little segment where we're going through Friday the 13th, Part 3. We kind of, Matt signed me up for this, I don't know, three Harvest Horror Fests ago to do a different Friday the 13th every Harvest Horror Fest, and since there's like 40 of them, we still got many to go. So I am your host, Mike Talent, and with me, as usual, is Matt. How's everything going today, Matt?
Good, Mike. And you know the whole reason why we signed up for this is because I got the whole thing, like the 8-part series, on sale for, I don't know, it was like 10 or 15 bucks several years ago. And, they always do it when there's a Friday the 13th, like, calendar day. And they put it on sale for sometimes $13 because Friday the 13th. And so I jumped on it. And, I like the original one. I can't say so much for the other ones. So, Mike, let's go ahead and roll in. Do the Friday the 13th Part 3. Yeah. Woo!
Okay. So, Friday the 13th, Part 3, Matt. My first impressions are this is a very gimmicky movie, and it was just more of the kind of the same, but they wanted to figure out something to do that would entice the audience to come back after the first two movies. And so they decided to go to something that they hadn't done for a while at Paramount Pictures, which was 3D. So this movie has a lot of kind of random scenes with things just kind of going at the camera to support 3D.
Yes. I don't know what there's lots of different things. I mean, I don't want to spoil it for our faithful listeners that haven't watched this 40-year-old movie, but there's lots of random things that get pointed at the screen, thrown at the screen, trying to just random. Like the very first one, it's not much of a spoiler. There's a pole on literally a laundry line, and that's like your first introduction to the 3D of, whoa, it's ridiculous. It's laundry.
Yeah, it was obviously it was a gimmick, and you know what? The movie, it worked for this movie because the movie had a budget of about, I think, $4 million, and it grossed $36 million, or 37, yeah. And that was great, but one thing it did cause was a little bit of a headache for Paramount because they had to make sure all the projectionists and everything had all the right equipment to project the 3D, which wasn't as universal as it is now. And so they had to set up a support line and give the guys some training, the projectionists, and so they likely ended up paying a little bit more, but nobody's quite sure how much that ended up being. But some people estimate that it was another like $2 or $3 million. But still, out of $37 million, that's still a pretty good profit from like either $4 to $8 million. That's still good profit, Matt. You would like that, right?
I'd make do. I could make do.
Yeah, it's a livable wage.
Okay, Mike, so what about the breakdown? Would you like me to do that for you, sir?
Yeah. Why don't you run into that before we get into some of the more interesting things about this movie?
Yes, sir. Right away, sir. So Friday the 13th, Part 3, as we said, is 40 years old. It was filmed or released in 1982. It's directed by Steve Miner. It's written by Martin Kitrosser, Carol Watson, Victor Miller, Ron Kurls, and Sean S. Cunningham. It stars Terry Ballard, Richard Brooker, Gloria Charles, Ann Gabus, Rachel Howard, David Katmus, Dana Kimmel, Paul Krotka, and Sherry Magans, Maugans. I don't know. I probably butchered that. I think that's all the main characters, all of them. Pretty sure.
Yeah, I think that is.
You could tell because they all have literally like one name. They don't even get last names. That's how much people care about them in this film is, yeah, you're playing Rick. It's not Rick Smith or Rick Richards or something. It's just Rick. You're just murder fodder. But anyways, all right, here we go. Here's your storyline. Jason Voorhees, having barely survived a wound to his shoulder from his own machete, is back to revenge on all that visit his woods. A new group of friends come over to a party at an area close to the campsite. This time, Jason will be stronger than ever and getting a hockey mask from one of those friends. That's a terrible storyline.
Yeah, that's not the best. It's not the best.
Well, it's better than the one that is provided. It says Jason Voorhees stalks a group of friends who just arrived to spend the weekend at a cabin near Crystal Lake.
Right. That is better.
Yeah, they're both just terrible. But anyways, all right, Mike, so there you go. There's the rundown for Friday the 13th part Trace.
All right, Matt. I think it will be hard for us to talk about this movie without spoilers and stuff. So I'm just going to ask you right now, Matt, what are you drinking?
Well, Mike, thank you for asking. I am keeping it going. Last Harvest Horror Fest, last Harvest style beer. It's not my last one. I still have another 12-pack. I am drinking another Sam Adams Oktoberfest, kind sir.
Oh, those are fantastic. Man, really like those this time of year.
Dude, it's the only time I can get them, and it's one of my favorite beers.
Yeah, so I am drinking a Pumpkinhead from Shipyard. It's another kind of classic pumpkin. This one's available all over the place, and it's pretty tasty, man.
Okay, Mike, so speaking about pumpkins, that doesn't work. Or heads. How about heads? Yeah, heads are going to roll. There we go. Mike, what is today's absolutely amazing, stupendous, scrumdiddlyumptious dad joke?
I got dad jokes. I don't think they understand, though. Gotta think I'm funny. Other people never laugh, though. Dad jokes.
What would happen if Americans switched from pounds to kilos overnight?
We would all weigh a whole lot more.
There would be mass confusion.
Okay. All right. That's pretty bad.
You get it? You get it? Mass?
Oh, yeah. Kilograms and pounds, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. I think mine works better. All right, Mike, this might be a hard one, but with the 3D involved, maybe it wasn't too difficult. Mike, how does Friday the 13th part Trace relate to the Marvel Cinematic Universe?
I did have to do some digging on this one, of course, Matt, to find somebody. But I was able to find a person who worked on the script for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. His name is Martin Kittrosser. And he also worked on this movie, Friday the 13th Part 3.
Yeah, he's one of the screenplay people. One of the writers.
Yep. So that was good. Sometimes I worry, I still am amazed that I was able to find somebody who worked on Jaws.
Yeah, that's your claim to fame to date. This is pretty close though. I mean, 1982. It's pretty solid. Oh, Halloween, didn't we get someone on the original Halloween too?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah. Well, that one probably isn't too tough because there's a lot of makeup and things like that, costuming.
Yeah. All right, Matt. So I guess with spoilers allowed now for anyone who's wondering, what we think of the movie, man, I love a lot of these movies, but this one's just not great. It's got terrible acting. The script is like half of the script is someone just asking, "Jimmy, where are you? Jimmy, where are you?" Like that's like half the script, like or whatever. I don't remember all their characters' names, but like, Ricky, where are you? Like,
Andy.
Yeah,
Andy was the big one. I remember that one. She was asking for Andy for like 25 minutes.
Yeah, like it's just I don't know. That was terrible. I did like some of the classic horror tropes in it, Matt, like the Harbinger. That was cool.
All right, Mike. So we're going to differ a little bit on this. This movie is not great. That is definitely true. But that's what makes it so great, is that it is so terrible, because this is the Friday the 13th that when people think of Friday the 13th, this is the start of that era with the hockey mask, with the machete, with Jason. I mean, you actually see Jason's face multiple times. The only killer for me on this is that clearly they did not film this at Camp Crystal Lake, which sucks. They filmed it, I don't know, somewhere with a river. I don't know. It doesn't even look like the Northeast where the original films took place, the first two. But this movie is just, it's bad, but it's good bad because it's just silly. You know, it's lots of murdering, lots of hardcore, deaths. The thing that I'm most upset about, though, is that you like to harken on our 3 Bs. You got boobs, you got blood, and you got beasts. We got the blood and we got the beasts, and we barely get boobs. And there's even a shower scene, and you barely get boobs. And this is an 82 film.
Yeah, it's like side boob. It's like it's not that great.
No, there should be boobs all over the place. I mean, one of the chicks is in a bikini, and she's pretty smoking cute, and you don't even nothing. Again, Mike, this is one of the worst Harvest Horror Fests ever because there's no boobs.
I guess that's true, man. None of these movies had boobs. Ah, man. So Matt, just to talk about the location, yeah, this movie was filmed in California, and they built the house, the barn, and the lake on location, and the man-made lake wasn't properly sealed, and subsequently the water drained into the soil during the first week of filming.
Well, that would do it. I mean, that's why it doesn't look like the Northeast either.
Yeah. So I guess it's bad, but I didn't feel like it was bad good. I don't know.
You just think it's bad? I think it was bad good.
Okay, all right. I mean, but you did bring out a key point. This is the point where someone decided to give him a hockey mask, or he takes it from one of the characters in this movie, and then that has become the very iconic, super recognizable Jason Voorhees. Like, that is like the Friday the 13th. So they contributed to the series by doing that, because I mean, now it's like you can't, like, if he was just wearing his little sack like he was in number 2, no one would know who he was. But this is such a, I don't know, like, it became so branded, I guess, after that.
Well, another one there's a few things I don't get that make it really just not good. There's a lot of things that make it not good, but the motorcycle gang, like, that was really random.
Oh, yeah, I was going to bring that up. I'm glad you talked about that, Matt. Yeah, dude, it's super, like, stereotypy, right? Like, why does a motorcycle gang have to be, like, bad people? Like, I don't know, man. And then, like, just the random, like, pretty much assault, like, inside of the convenience store, and the convenience person doesn't even say anything.
Yeah, they're screwing up the store, and they're just, like, hanging out. It's like, really, they're destroying your store, but you're okay with the motorcycle gang doing that. And then the typical, they're trying to escape, and he hits the motorcycles over, and that really ticks them off. I don't know. I don't understand why they were in there, because they get murdered, like, right off the bat. Like, they go to the cabin or the camp or whatever the hell you want to call it, where our other cannon fodder is staying, and the motorcycle people just get murdered like right off the bat. Except for the one guy, it looks like he gets murdered, and then he's the savior at the end, which is fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, I don't know. It was super random, Matt, but like, so after they had that tussle where like the motorcycle gang guy breaks the windows of the VW, and like they end up hitting his bike again for like a second time and drives off, right? They decide, oh, we're going to get him back. We're going to take all of their gas from their vehicle and then burn down their barn? Like, what?
Yeah, and that, that's just foreshadowing, because of course she's going to run out of gas as she tries to run away. How did they know where they lived? Because he ran over the motorcycles and they're long gone by the time they get on any of the bikes. So how did they find them? It was before the days of, the internet and Google Maps.
I don't know, man. I guess we just have to take it all for granted. Like, the I believe button that I talk about. We just believe, and everything's fine. But I felt like that scene, like, so this movie runs like, 90 minutes, 91 minutes. It's not very long. And I feel like that scene with the motorcycle was to give you more, because they knew it was going to be under like 80 minutes otherwise.
It's an hour and 35 minutes. So that's 95.
Yeah, so they knew that if they didn't have that scene there, that's like, 10 minutes?
Oh, at least, yeah. Especially with the added on, Jason murdering all the motorcycle people.
Yeah, if they didn't have that scene, or those, I guess, 2 scenes, we were looking at like an 80-minute movie, and like that's not like feature length, like it's like too short. And so maybe that's just why they did it. I don't know, man. But like I didn't even think, like, you're right, there's some decent kills in this, but I didn't think they were too creative in some of their kills. I mean, I guess the spear gun was kind of cool, and then it also tied into the 3D, with the girl in the lake, like, hey, you're not Andy.
But why the hell would you have a spear gun at a lake?
Okay, so I have no idea either, Matt. But like, totally ridiculous. But also, spear gun, I don't think it would fly very well in the air, because they're meant for water, and like it's like a rubber band. But anyway, it's fine, whatever.
Right, because I can get into the aerodynamics of it. There's no wings, there's nothing directionally on it. So it's more almost like a dart gun, and the weight would probably cause it to fall. There's no rifling, so it's not going to spin. It's just probably going to go, in an arc. It'll be like, But hey, whatever. It went right through someone's eyeball. So that was pretty cool. And it came right at the camera, which I wish I had 3D. I would have enjoyed this in 3D.
Yeah. I do admit that this was probably kind of fun to watch in 3D, because it's just kind of ridiculous. Like, every once in a while, there's just like a random thing like flying at the camera.
Well, I have to say, one thing I think that would have helped this movie a lot if they would have fleshed out the characters a little bit more, because honestly, I don't give a shit when they start dying. I really don't care. Like in the first Friday the 13th, you care because you know what's going on and what the purpose is and why they're doing that. This is just a bunch of people that I think know each other, but don't know each other, but do. And they all go to a cabin to basically bone, and none of them bone, and none of them get married. They all just get, not married, none of them get naked. They all just get murdered. And they don't even get last names.
You're right, man. The character development is very bad. Like, we got one character who I guess is a goof off. We don't know any reason why.
Well, he makes it seem like because he thinks he's ugly, so that's the only way he can get chicks is to be an asshole and try and be goofy at the same time, and it doesn't work.
Yeah. And then there's another chick who's like obviously got something going on, because she like just sits outside and like ponders life, and like her mom wasn't going to let her go on the trip, and then she comes on the trip. But that's it. We know nothing else about her. And then there's the two that are in a relationship, and I think the one is pregnant. I don't know. Like, it was real weird. And then there's the two pothead people
Yeah,
Like,
the two
it's just like
hippie stoners. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like random. And then there's the two that are like, they had a relationship, but they don't have a relationship. And like, she's all messed up from like another camping trip that you find out about midway through the movie. And you're like, what?
Well, and that bothers me because I think if they would have made her a character like the survivor from like the first or second movie, and here she is again in the third movie, and this shit's happening again, then it would have made a little bit more sense. But they have to show you and give you the backstory of, oh, well, she went camping at Camp Crystal Lake at one point in her past, and Jason stumbled upon her 3 years ago or 4 years ago and tried to kill her, and she ran away and got away, but it was no big deal. And it's like, no, it should have been something else. But I don't know. I still stand by it. I think this is bad good.
Okay, all right. This woman who's had this trauma, like, she's like, oh yeah, and my parents won't talk about it. I'm like, so you just like disappeared all night, had this crazy shit happen, and everyone's like, well, you're back. Look good to me.
Yeah, it's
Like-
it's strange. Mike, did you ever play the Friday the 13th online video game?
Maybe I did.
I attempted to play it a few times on my Xbox One. I think it's still going. I still have a copy of it. I bought a physical copy of it. I think it was like $15. But basically, there's no single player component. It's all online. And you either get lucky and get to be Jason, or you get to be one of these campers. And the whole video game is mostly based on Friday the 13th Part 3. And they have the names of all the people, and the murders all happen in the same. It's a hodgepodge of all the films to a degree, but it's mostly influenced by this film. And it's just kind of interesting to go back and watch the movie again and refresh all this after playing the game. I haven't played the game in probably a year. If you were not good at it, it's not a whole lot of fun to play because you just get murdered like right off the bat by Jason. But if you get the random lucky number and you get to be Jason, then it's a whole lot of fun. But they have the VW in there, they have the van, they have a bunch of different ways to escape, and if you escape before Jason kills you, you win. It doesn't happen often. Jason is so overpowered, he just usually murders the shit out of everybody.
Gotcha. Well, I mean, that's kind of how the movies show it, man. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, he's like supernatural. You know, you can do stuff to him, and he's just like, whatever, and he keeps on coming. You know, like the kind of boogeyman kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's very,
Yaga.
very much how the game is, and it's fun. It can be fun, but like I said, I wasn't very good at it, so it wasn't a whole lot of fun. I think if I played it with a bunch of people, this is the problem with the online games. I guess I'm just too old now. I mean, back when we were kids, we could get people and talk and stuff like that, and get more than one person like that we knew. If you get like 5 or 6 of your friends and you're all talking to each other and you can work together to avoid Jason, then it works and it makes sense. But I don't want to do that with a bunch of random 12-year-olds.
Gotcha. Who have some crazy mounts on them.
Dude, they seriously do. It's like the internet has broke an entire generation. I don't know.
Yeah, I think so. Matt, some crazy trivia for this thing is a theater called the Royal Independent Movie Theater in Toronto, Canada. It closed in 2006, but before that, they owned one of the original copies in the 3D format, and so they used to screen the film once every Halloween.
That's
in
awesome.
3D. Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool.
Well, so I'm sure you watched it on the same product that I watched it on because I paid for it on Vudu. The scan or rip, or however you want to refer to it, from the original film onto Vudu is not the best. I don't know if you noticed that, Mike. There's like dust spots, there's scratches, it's a pretty rough, implementation of this film into the digital world, or possibly even Blu-ray.
Yeah, I did see at least a couple times some dust spots or something. I was like, what? Is that real? Like, but I think it was.
Yeah, and they're not on like the sides. You know, the sides wouldn't bother me as much. I mean, there's some shit that's like straight up right on people's faces, like right in the middle, and it stays there for like a scene.
Yeah. Earlier I was talking about how this was the first 3D film in a long time at Paramount. It was 1954. Paramount released a movie Ulysses in 3D. So it was 28 years in between when they did 3D. Now, Matt, talking about 3D, I tend to avoid new modern 3D movies because I feel like it's just extra cost and it doesn't really add anything to me. What are your feelings about 3D?
The exact same thing. I gave in like everyone else when the first Avatar came out, because I have to say the first now because the second one is actually coming out. It's coming out in December. So we will get to go and see that. I'm sure I will be dragged to go see that, kicking and screaming. Not by you, Mike, but by someone else that I am close to once a week. Anyways, I'm sure I will be forced to go see that because she loves the original Avatar, not so much the story, but she loves the world and the animals and the creatures and all that shit. But I fell for the trap and I went and saw the first Avatar in 3D because it was the first, really big push for digital 3D, and it wasn't like, the red and blue 3D that most people associate with the 80s. It's more like, God, this will show my age, but Captain EO 3D from Disneyland, or Disney World.
Oh, yeah. I remember that.
Yeah, it's more like that. And I mean, that's a massive technology jump because Captain EO was like literally the only way you could ever see that kind of 3D until Avatar, to my knowledge. And so I gave in and I went and watched it. And honestly, it was cool, but I don't think it was worth double the ticket price. I really don't. And I don't think it really added anything to the movie. It was just kind of a gimmick for me. So I have not seen a 3D movie since. I've only seen Avatar, and that was several years ago. And they release a bunch of 3D stuff still. The Harkins Theater here that I frequent in Prescott Valley, their smaller theaters typically are their 3D theaters. And I really I don't go unless there's something that really, really warrants it. I mean, I don't know. Mike, when was the last time you saw a 3D movie in the theaters?
Man, I'm trying to think about it actually right now. It was probably just something that I couldn't, the times, with my busy schedule, sometimes I'll go watch a movie that's 3D if it's like at the wrong time or whatever, but I can't think of anything off the top of my head that I watched in 3D. I'm pretty sure it was a Marvel movie, some sort of Marvel.
I haven't seen any of the Marvel movies in 3D. I have no desire. I just don't. And what's funny is, I have really bad motion sickness, which reminds me I need to go to the store and get Dramamine for my trip here coming up on vacation, or else I'm going to be really, really in pain or lots of colorful weight loss. How's that?
You're going to feed the fishes, man.
I'll feed lots of fishies. But yeah, I need to get some freaking Dramamine. I got to remember that. I have some, but it's old. It's like 10 years old, I think.
Oh no, you should get some new stuff just to make sure that its efficacy is on point.
Oh yeah, but being someone that has horrible motion sickness, 3D doesn't really bother me when I watch it. Again, it's been several years, but I just don't think it's worth the expense. I don't think it's worth the experience. Maybe I should go do it again, watch something that I really, really am intrigued by in 3D, but I don't know, man. Maybe I'll give it a shot again, but no, not my forte, not worth the money.
Matt, one thing interesting with these Friday the 13th movies that I meant to bring up earlier was they tend to have kind of a recap of the last movie's ending.
I like that. I'll be honest. I like that. They did that on the start of this. They did it on the start of the second one, and obviously not the first one. But yeah, I like it. It's kind of like, hey, guess what? We're doing another one of these. Oh, by the way, this is how many people we murdered in the last one, and this is how it ended.
Yeah, I think that's kind of different, and I don't know if anyone would ever do that nowadays, but that was an interesting way of maybe reminding the audience, hey, because I think these movies are all a year apart. It's like when the first one came out to this one, I think it was like 1980, 81, and 82. So it's like they just, started cranking them out. Kind of like when the Saw movies became real big. It was like one every year for like, I don't know, 7-8 years.
I don't know. Hold on. Let me click on my IMDb link and I can take a look. So yeah, Friday the 13th Part 2 came out in 81. And the original came out in 80. So yeah, you're right. They cranked them out every freaking year. Interesting. Because 1 and 2 are very different than the rest of the series, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think this is where it starts changing to be, I guess, the more focused on the bad good of just lots of kills and more creative kills, and these people really need to stop coming to Crystal Lake. I mean, come on. Like, there should be a sign posted or something.
What's interesting, I'm just going back a little bit here on the IMDb's, a couple back. Sean S. Cunningham was involved in the first 3. He was the director/writer of the original, and then he has writing credits on 2 and 3. So clearly the guy that created this whole universe, this was involved, and maybe this was his vision, or maybe he was just cashing paychecks. I don't know.
Well, I mean, it worked. I feel like the original Friday the 13th had such a low budget and made so much money that it became one of the more profitable movies, like, ever. It's pretty crazy. And I remember the promotional video for that was just like Friday the 13th breaking through some glass or something. Like, what does that mean? They're like, yeah, we don't know yet either.
Well, Mike, I have to say, I know you don't like this movie or you don't think it's great, but I think our listeners should go and watch this because this is a classic horror film. It's the original's way, 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 way better, but this is the start of Jason as you think and know him today. And so I think it's well worth a watch, even though it's bad. It's not a great film. The acting is crap. Everything is just goofy as shit. The 3D obviously doesn't work, but I like it, man. I like it. It's good bad for me. I'm sorry. It's good bad, Mike.
That's okay, Matt. That's okay. We're going to have to figure out for next year whether we do the new updated Friday the 13th, which is kind of a combination of these first 3 movies, or if we continue down the path of just doing the series. And then when we do the series, we have to figure out what's in the series, because it's a little confusion on that.
Like series as in like TV show? There's a TV show?
No. Like, so I think what you got on your streaming service is 1 through 8, but there's like a 10, and there's Freddy versus Jason, and there's other movies. So I'm not sure, because one of them's like Jason in space, and it is as ridiculous as you can be.
That's the one I'm most excited about.
Yeah, like that one was bad.
That was bad.
Had some cool kill in it, though. I remember one really cool kill. So anyway,
Mike, you're the harbinger of the Harvest Horror Fest, so it is completely up to you which way we go, because this is your baby. That first year we did it 5 years ago, if you can believe that, Mike. Our very first year of the podcast, we kicked off the Harvest Horror Fest. Or you kicked it off. It's your baby. This is what you love to do. You're passionate about horror. It's all up to you, my friend. Everything else, I take care of. But the Harvest Horror Fest, this 1 month is all on you, except for posting it and editing it and putting it on the socials and, the usual. But you pick. All right?
All right, man. Well, I don't know yet. So I guess we'll just have to figure it out for next year.
You got 11
but-
months to figure it out, Mike.
But everyone, thank you for sticking out another Harvest Horror. It was good to do it again, and I look forward to watching some more horror movies. Although we usually watch some throughout the year because they tend to come out in slow times anyway. So
Yeah, there's actually a couple that are in the pipeline. I don't know if they came out this month or if they're coming out in like November, December, January, February, that I'm kind of intrigued by, I'll be honest. There's a couple that I want to see. I can't remember them off the top of my head, but I remember seeing some trailers recently. I think it was some trailers on Halloween Ends and the what's the last movie we saw in the theater before Halloween Ends? I'm drawing a blank on what we saw in the theater, but there was a couple trailers for maybe not so much horror, but like thriller, like stuff that would not interest me.
was it the Warrior?
Yes,
Warrior,
Woman King. Yeah,
Woman King.
I think there was a couple trailers on there because Woman King came out September, so they're prepping us for Halloween and horror season and all that stuff. But there's probably about 2 or 3 coming out that look interesting to me that I wouldn't mind seeing. So we'll discuss that later. But Mike, I think we should let people know what we thought of Friday the 13th Part 3.
All right, Matt. I will go ahead and give you my rating first. I'm going to give it 2 reels.
That's actually higher than I anticipated you were going to do, Mike.
Oh, okay. What'd you think? I was going to do 1?
Yeah.
I don't really give out 1s that much, honestly.
I thought you were going to be like a 1.5.
Oh, okay.
Just because you're so particular about these kinds of films. Now, me, like I said, this is good, bad for me. So I give it a full reel higher than you. I give it a 3 out of 5. I think this is just goofy ass fun.
All right. It was the stoners, huh? They made you laugh.
It was the stoners, yeah. It was the
It was
stoners.
the popcorn scene.
Oh,
the
yeah,
popcorn
of course.
scene.
Dude, that takes me back. That's how my pops used to do popcorn, or still does, in a frying pan with a lid on it. Yep, that's the only way he likes to do it. He thinks microwave popcorn is the devil.
Well, that's funny, Matt.
All right, Mike.
Yeah, man.
So next week it's my pick on a movie since you've got to pick the past month.
Yeah, man. What are we watching? What are we watching this coming week?
I teased a little bit in our last podcast. This movie's been out now for a couple weeks. I don't care. I want to see it. I'm not a huge fan of DC, but it's The Rock. I love The Rock. He's very passionate about this character. He's very passionate about this film. He put his own money into it. Mike, we're going to go watch Black Adam in the theaters.
Yeah, man, that sounds fun. That's a good movie theater type movie, and the theaters could use some help. So we're gonna give them some of our hard-earned dollars.
Believe me, it's real hard to earn them now, and at least in my world. So, all right, Mike. Well, you got anything else?
No. I think I'm all good, Matt. We don't have any more giveaways, right? We're good with that.
Not currently. I mean, I was talking about it on the last pod. We didn't get any of the info really out to us. So if we have some random giveaways, all of a sudden, I don't know how we're going to do it, but we might because we're on their list. So hopefully we'll get a couple here in this upcoming month of November and definitely probably December. But we'll keep you posted, if we get some. So, but other than that, I think we're good.
Okay, Matt, you want to take us out of here?
Yes, sir. Right away, sir. Well, thank you everyone for listening. Don't forget to check out our Facebook group where people are supposed to chat about movies together and nobody does. It's usually me just posting that we put a new episode out and no one listens. That's fine. We have the Twitters at Real Film Nerds. We have Instagram at Real Film Nerds. We don't do any other socials. We have those 3. That's plenty. YouTube. There's a YouTube. If you don't listen to the podcast on a podcast app, you can listen to it on there. It's not video. It's just audio, but you can listen there as well. So thanks everybody for listening. I hope you enjoyed our 5th annual Harvest Horror Fest. Next week, it is back to our regularly scheduled movie reviews. Thanks everybody for listening, and we will see you in November.
Thank you for listening to The Real Film Nerds. Now, don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Real Film Nerds. Now, go out and catch a movie.